What is up, survivors? We're back for another mod review, and for today's mod review we're going over Randi's Emporium. This mod honestly adds a little bit of everything for everybody. This is a decor mod, a quality of life mod, a lot of, oh man, there's way too much, so let's just get right into it. So there's a lot of stuff in this mod. We're going to talk about just about everything that's out here, but predominantly we're going to start off right here with the Emporium Constructor globe. This is placed on your person. You unlock your default at level 1, you just fiber metal wood, you'll be able to place it on the ground and make it, and this is where you're going to craft everything that's included in this mod. All that stuff's going to show up right here, but one of the coolest things that I really like about this thing, this globe is a globe of the map. It looks like it's the island map, and it has the cave locations on it. I don't know if it doesn't look like a way to be able to like change it to a different map because we're on Ragnarok right now, but this is the island map. It has all the cave locations, the coordinates on it, and everything. The obelisk, all the caves. Awesome. It's so cool. But anyway, so you're going to craft everything in here. It's organized super well, and we'll talk about just about everything. There's a few things in here that I didn't craft, and we'll talk about why, but let's just kind of get into it. For starters, you're going to have a lot of different art that you're going to be able to place. These are just free. You can just place them. And there's all sorts of cool pictures, different sizes and shapes, and they're made out of like different materials. So depending on what type of base you're building, you can kind of fit them in pretty well. Even Starry Nights out here, but quite a few other ones. Hocking Hills, Frostbite, like there's a lot of really cool stuff. There's already some time and thought that went in this, and these guys fit really great. I like to always use, I know a lot of people, maybe not a lot, but some people wonder why I use the stone walls as reference with a lot of these builds. It's because the wood panels on the inside, the wood beams, oftentimes throw off things that try to mount on walls, so I do it on purpose to see what clips and what doesn't inside of those beams, and that's usually a pretty good telltale sign of how flush they sit with everything else. And as you can see, I could specifically put some of these frames on those beams and some of them off, and they don't stick through, right? So everything still looks really flush and looks really great that way. So anyway, so you have all these pictures that you can craft. Over here we have a bunch of curtains that need to be placed on walls or windows or whatever, but basically you have the option of doing it with shears or without shears. Now as you can see, these kind of clip a little bit, but you can't really use this as a good reference because predominantly you're going to be putting these over windows. There's not going to be anything here. So yeah, anyway, and we also have the curtains over here, the flower curtains, but so you have shears, no shears basically, so you can dress up your windows. There's a decent amount of meat and potatoes to talk about in here. So we have a medieval oven, but then we also have a cooking oven that essentially do the same thing. It's just a matter of the style that you're looking for here. There is a long list of potions and recipes and things that you're going to be making that are specific to this mod, and they do a lot of cool abilities. We have things like potions that increase your stats depending on what you're trying to do, stuff that works for feeding things as well. Like, look, this one's a phoenix finding candy. You eat it to summon a phoenix and it'll fly in the direction of wild phoenix, so you can find a phoenix that way or spawn one in basically. One for trying to find otters, which is really cool, and one for finding unicorns, one for finding Lepleurodon. So these rare animals that are oftentimes a pain in the butt to find, not so much anymore. Recipes, there's a whole plethora of different food things in here, and the thing that I like about this is they're very well categorized as far as what they actually do. Everything is right here. Like, it tells you what, if it just gives you food or whatever it gives you. Everything is right here, and there's a long list of them, so you can make different things to buff you different ways. I like this. It's great for RP, but also just a general PvE server, honestly. Dino Treat Maker is basically what it says. It makes treats. Usually they have a better spoil timer on them, and they provide more, like that one says specifically provides more food, where something like this I think is for your berry. Yeah, this is more for your herbivore guys. These are for your what would normally eat fish, like your baryonyx, things like that. The biscuits look like they're just long. They give you more food, and the spoil timer is better on them essentially. So kind of works out, and this one works for mutton. So really cool. You just make them in there. The cooking oven essentially works the same way as the medieval oven. Now, if you notice, they say they're not irrigated. This one says it's not irrigated. However, you can make these water barrels inside of that crafting station that I showed you over here to essentially pump water into it, which is kind of cool. You can just use it. You can consume it while it's in here, and it'll use the water and cook. If you don't have tap run into it. So the bonfire sort of works like a high-end regular campfire. This is kind of for making your charcoal, like you specifically just charcoal. And let's get, so if we throw some wood in here, I'll turn it on to show you. what it does, it just converts it faster, but then it also cooks meat faster than a normal fire does. So if you need something to make charcoal for you over time, this is a pretty good way to do it. Just chuck it in there and walk away, and it's got a 50 slots on it, so you can fill this thing up pretty far and just kind of let it go. And I love the effects, like the wood is all like actually like burning and everything. It looks really great. This poster, I can get down with this poster. This poster's amazing. Turn the HUD off so you can see it. Wanted dead for theft. I hate those birds. I'm all about it. I'm all about it. I love it. That after my own heart. This is an upgraded, like a better wall sign. It seems to clip better, honestly. As you can see, the stone's sticking out a little bit, but again, I specifically try to use walls like this to try to make it hard. But as you can see, I think it actually looks a little bit better, and it looks a little bit bigger too, so it's a little bit easier to write on. Kitchen cupboard is just a storage option. It's just a 100 slot storage option that you can make. You have a few different lights. You have a candle that's places on top of objects, tables, and things, and then a couple of wall mount candles if you want to use those, to complete with a end table that you can make as well. There's a couple different types of beds. You can lay on and pick them up, whatever, but they're kind of pre-colored for certain things, so you can place those down if you want to. And that's kind of it for that side. We're gonna get towards let's go over the middle, then what's on this wall, and then we're gonna go outside and talk about stuff out there. First, I thought they were cosmetic. You put them outside and looks like you need it for something. No. You can actually walk up them and stand on them. I don't know why I haven't seen something like this sooner. I don't know how many times I've been building something and this has been driving me bonkers when I can just pick this ladder up and move it around and go exactly where I need to go. And it's smooth. I just walk right up it and I walk right down it. It's just basically it acts like it's a ramp just with a steeper incline, but building in your house would be much easier with something like this. Plus the option to just pick them up, put it back down. You have different styles of carpets. Now these carpets do clip to the foundation, so they're going to line up perfectly. You're not really going to see much of a gap. As you can see, they kind of overlap a little bit so that you don't see any gap and it meshes really well. This is called the Caribbean floor, which is more of like a tile sort of watery sort of look, and then everything else is just different colors of carpet. You have a starry carpet, the red, gray, the black, so you have different types of carpet. I like the fact that these guys snap to the foundation, so you don't have to worry about trying to line those up. They are perfect. They look great too. Everything in here honestly looks really beautiful. We have a couple different fountain options. You have this awesome like marble fountain, which is gorgeous. We have the mother and child fountain, which is the cool statue up here. Looks great. And then just a little barrel fountain as well. These guys look fantastic. You can irrigate them, and when you can, they can work like basically kind of like taps. You can put your like canteens and stuff in there and fill them full of water. Going over here, you have the deconstruction bench, which is essentially kind of like a grinder. Like you toss that in there to deconstruct things. Now it does look like it's tied to the person, so who crafted it would be the one where you'd throw that in there. But a pretty cool option. I like that. The Dimetrodon 4000 is a high-end air conditioner. So it's 4 times as strong, but it is 4 times expensive. You can still use charge batteries in it like you would normally use on air conditioners, but yeah, so it's a high-end air conditioner, and I think that the name for this is absolutely perfect. The Dimetrodon 4000. I dig it. I like it. A couple of little storage options here. We have just the storage box here. Again, you can, I think you can actually label these. Yeah. So it looks like you can, let's say renable it. Let's name relabel it test, and then set the custom name label first. There it is. It's on the back. Whoops. Anyway, these guys are kind of made to work together, so you can snap the chest into the shelves if you want to. I just had them separate, so just because. But basically, you can put one on each and then one up top. And oh, there it goes. It starts to. It just takes it a second to render the words on the front. But yeah, so you can stack them up top, and then these clip to each other, so you could have a row of them to make your storage options. And these are 200 slots, so you could connect a couple of these together, throw a couple of chests in here, label them all up, and have all your storage all nice and organized. If you're like me, that crap drives me crazy when it's not organized. So yeah. We have a metal storage box, which is still a 200 slot. It just looks a little bit different. If you're doing more of a, I guess, more of a less primitive build, you can use that as well. The preserving trough is another interesting one. This essentially works kind of like a tech trough. So you can refrigerate items in here, but they don't work off like a tech generator. So as you can see, you use spark powder or angler gel in here, and it preserves it instead of using the normal feeding trough, which is super nice early on, or if you're playing on maps that don't necessarily have a lot of access to element and the tech field in general. Super cool. Love it. So that about sums up what's in here. So let's we had a couple things over there to talk about, but then let's talk about some of the wall extras. So this is a 2x2 window wall that goes in. This is all one piece that you can drop down and pick up, which is pretty gnarly. These doors, as silly as it sounds, are something that I'm really excited about. These are 2x2 doors. They have the same door frame, and then this is like a 1x2, so it's twice as tall, which is great. I love those. It's a very simple thing, but man, do I love them. We also have a 2x2 glass window as well, which is pretty neat. Moving over here, these are like pet stands, basically. So if you have a tamed animal like this dodo, right? Nearby this, you can call the dino and then it'll show up on the list, and it kind of works like, if you're familiar with the hitching post, it sort of works like that, but it shoots the animal up to the top. So if you have shoulder pets lying around or just animals like dung beetles or something like that, just trying to keep a hold of, you just throw them up there. Funny part is, as you can see, it doesn't always work that well, but when they poop, it rolls down the side. It looks like the dodo laid an egg earlier and it actually rolled all the way down right to the bottom. It was super easy. You got a little pad here as well, and then a shelf mount as well. So all your little shoulder pets or small animals, you can do all that stuff with, and it's pretty awesome. As awesome as this mod might be, you don't have a Harvs Corner chili pepper flying around, but if you want one, there's a link in the description, and there's plenty of other things that are involved. Anyway, what else? These trees may seem like trees, but they are more than just trees. These are dino leashes on top of that. So they work via solar essentially. So they just kind of sit outside, but they'll work like the dino leashes, but they kind of can camouflage into your building project depending where you are. So you have like the normal tree here. We have like more of a palm tree and then a snowy tree, depending on where you're building at. Moving over here, these are like laser levels that I thought was really cool. You place them on the ground, and there's one for horizontal, one for vertical. And when you place them on the ground, they shoot a level line. And I thought that was as far as the line went. The line goes really far. So it's kind of cool if you're trying to, I don't know, maybe organize fence foundations or trying to get your crop plot straight or whatever. It's kind of nice to have that line to kind of guide you around. I really appreciate that. Smart move. Definitely helpful on the builder's end. Plus, it just looks cool. Over here, there's a couple of pathways that you can make, and these are just kind of pathways that you can free place down. We have this big one with the tribal symbols on it. We have some of these small guys over here that are individuals. A regular, just like stone pathway. You can connect these together if you want to, and then a smaller one as well. So if you're trying to make like a pathway to your front door, maybe you're just doing something themey, RP-ish, this seems like a pretty good way to do it. This might look like a menagerie of just clipped structures together, but it's kind of done like this on purpose. You can make bridges. So you have different inclines, flats, and railings that go with it. But what you'll use is this base, and this base essentially works as a foundation, but it ramps up and you can still connect your bridge pieces over. So you can have a ramp up again, you can go flat, you can have it come back down. So now you can build bridges over waterways or up things or over things without having to use the pillar method or other mods that maybe have to have stacked foundations. And we also have like the railings that clip to the outsides and angled up. So like I said, it looks like a little menagerie at first, but the reason why I did that, it was specifically to show you how well you can kind of build out from and on either side of, and it works really well. So gone are the days of pillaring for all your bridges. I like it. These Gigantor structures are taming cages. These are traps. You can set traps. You can have your dinos when you're out there taming dinos. They have different sizes. You have the giant one, the medium one, and a small one over here, and they all pretty much work the same way. You have the option when you go up to here, you have plenty of options, but you can deactivate them, you can activate them however you want, but then you can open the trap door that's on the other side here. Boink. So you can do the same thing you normally would, and as you can see, I can fit in and out of here. So if I'm trying to trap an Argentavis, I can run in here, go over here, and then close the trap door, and now it's stuck inside of this. This is a pretty awesome thing. Now I believe the way that this actually works is if we open the trap door here, right? And then I activate the trap, that should show blue. Now I believe as this is open, something is chasing me. I run through. As I run through that blue square, this trap door should close down. And as we can see, it do. So it's perfect. You can set up perfectly for taming critters. Now, obviously, this might not work on something smaller. Obviously, they'd be able to run through this, but all your bigger creatures, just having this structure to just plop, place down the whole thing, and you can pick it up, move it around. I mean, you can use bigger ones for taming things like wyverns, things like that, you know. T-Rexes can probably fit in that middle one, but yeah, these are, I mean, I spent a lot of time making all those dino gates, you know, the dino gate traps that we usually see, and being able to just make one big structure and plop it down makes this really easy, and they look great. Very useful. Very, very useful. You'll also have options like these trap doors. This is a 2x2 trap door with the trap door, the frame and the door itself. There's a 3x3 as well. That's on the crafting table. I forgot to place that down, but it pretty much looks the same way. It's just bigger. What we're looking at here. Actually, this is, I'm sorry, let me rephrase. This is the 3x3. The one in there is a 6x6. So it's pretty big. Moving over, one of the funnier things, we'll talk about him in a second, but you have an underwater generator and an underwater fridge. These work underwater specifically. So they work just like a fridge, just like a generator, but they're made specifically to work underwater, which is super convenient depending on what you're doing. Or if you're trying to breed water dinos, I have a little water pen set up, perfect for that. This buoy is cool because when you place it, it shows a light down here. As you can see, it's significantly brighter down here, so it kind of illuminates the area below it. But then on top of it, what I didn't know is that you can drive it. I can move it around, and as we could see, it's kind of fast. Pretty useful. You can back this up, forward, left, right, all of it still works with it. So yeah, you can move yourself a buoy around. What does it say? You've adventured to, oh yeah, so yeah, it's labeled like a buoy. I dig it. I love it. We also have some regular dino gates too, and these are just kind of changing the style. So instead of like 2 wide dino gate, this is actually a 3 wide dino gate, which is perfect for quite a lot of other creatures that have a hard time fitting through the regular 2 wide dino gates. All in all, I think this was definitely a QOL sort of mod with a little bit of construction and some food crafting. Like you can't really nail this mod down to one specific thing because it does quite a lot. On top of it, there are a few other things that we can talk about while we're in here. Specifically in this miscellaneous folder, there's the option to make some boonie hat skins if you want to do that, and there is a man and woman one, it looks like, as well. There's a glider suit in here that gets repaired via crystal and not blue gems so that you can use it on other maps, which is nice. There's also durable scissors. They work like the normal scissors for cutting stuff, but they just last a heck of a lot longer. Always thought that was crazy. I had scissors that would break 2 times after using it. You have the meteor shield skins for you and your dinos, which helps you defend yourself against maps that have meteors coming down, like Extinction. Element packaging is another cool one. Basically, you transfer this element into an envelope or container or whatever, and then it allows you to transfer it over to another server. Normally, you can't transfer element back and forth, but when you use it like this, it turns it into an envelope. You transfer it, you get to the other server, you open up the envelope, your element's there. Now, the one is for an envelope because it's just one element. The box would be for 10, and then I believe you can make the crate, which is for a 100. So that way you can easily transport your element back and forth. The other thing that's cool is this, the penguin cape skin. So it fits on kind of like a helmet, and you use it on the penguins, and they swim twice as fast, which I thought is a cool idea because right now penguins don't swim that fast in this game in the water, which is kind of strange to me. The other thing I did want to talk about in the structures section is that there are tech dino gates as well. So if you're looking for more of that, and then I believe there's some of the modified tech, yeah, so you can have more tech bridges as well. I didn't place the tech stuff down because it pretty much works exactly like the other counterpart does. It's just made out of tech, but better gates, better bridges. Man, to sum it all up, this is a cool mod. It's kind of big, but there's a lot of stuff going on with it, but I love it, and I would highly suggest you check this one out. I think this could easily become something that I would use on a regular basis just because it does so many different things at one time, and it's very not only is it very pretty, but it's very functional. A lot of time and effort, and this looks fantastic. That is it, ladies and gents. That is the Randi's Emporium mod. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, hit a like button, share it out, do whatever you want. We'll have a link to the Steam Workshop page for this mod in the description of the video, so you guys can check that out whenever you want. And as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. See you guys on the next one.